Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Heart to Heart. Today I'm going to be talking about the Catholic Church. If I had to set up a Family Feud style poll, and I had to say, describe the Catholic Church in one word, I bet you an overwhelming amount of people would say rules. People think the Catholic Church is basically just a huge rule book, and it's demanding, it restricts us, it controls us, and it limits us to what we can do in our lives. When someone tells you, you can't do this, you look to that little devil on your shoulder and he's like, nobody can tell you what not to do and what to do, right? You do what you want. Nobody likes to be told what to do. But I've had conversations where people talk to me like, oh, well, religion, like the Catholic faith, that's for people like you because you don't really mind following the rules. People are like, yeah, she's kind of like a by the book kind of person. So religion and the Catholic faith is for people like you who like to follow rules and not for me. And today I want to speak about those misconceptions. So I want to tell you a little story I first heard when I was studying abroad in Ireland in May of 2017. We went to Glenstal Abbey to visit the Benedictine monks, and we went to their evening vespers, which is their evening prayer time. And for some reason afterwards, our bus was late. So we were just kind of hanging out there. One of the monks came up to our group and he said, hey, why don't I give you guys a little tour? So we're like, yeah, that would be awesome. We went into this little building and we went down all these stairs, and there we just saw icons everywhere, which are kind of like holy paintings. They're like kind of like paintings. And then he called the group together. He's like, hey, I want to actually talk about this one painting right here. And that painting was St. Mary of Egypt. St. Mary of Egypt was born in 344 AD. So a very long time ago. She was a beautiful young girl, but she was also very rebellious. At the age of 12, she ran away, and she made her money doing this and that, but she was actually a public prostitute. And it was widely known that she would refuse payment when she was prostituting because she just kind of did it for the sport of it. It was kind of just like a game to see how many people that she could be with. She heard about this pilgrimage to Jerusalem where they're gonna have the exaltation of the Holy Cross. So she wanted to go on a sort of anti-pilgrimage. She went on the boat and she actually slept with some people on the boat in order for her payment. And her goal was to see how many pilgrims she could seduce while she was there in Jerusalem. She's going through all this, right? She travels this day of. She tries to enter into the shrine, and this unseen force prevents her from walking in. And she's kind of dumbfounded, so she walks in again. She can't walk in. She tries for a third time. She still can't. At this point, she doesn't know what to do, and she walks back into the courtyard. And as she looks up, she sees an image of Our Lady. And at this point, she just breaks down and starts crying because she realizes that the way she was living her life cut her off from the love of the Father, and she was not able to enter. And she realized, right, she was an unbeliever, but she realized that this was something true. And she promised Our Lady that she would follow her paths, so that Our Lady would lead her to Christ. After she made this promise, she was able to walk back into the shrine, actually walk in, right, for the first time, venerate the cross, and she lived the rest of her days in the desert in prayer. And so for many years, she was still tempted, and she still, had those temptations towards lust, but she always refused, and she always followed Our Lady's example, and she went towards Christ. So after the monk told us this, it was like dead silence. We were all just wrapped up in this story. And he said the moral of the story is that you need to know that God truly loves you and wants the best for you, and understand that first before you can understand the do's and the don'ts of the church. So let me read that one more time. That you need to know that God truly loves you and wants the best for you, and understand that first before you can understand the do's and the don'ts of the church. And I think that's a major problem in the church, that we always think about the rules and not really the reason for the rules. We are catechized and not evangelized. What I mean by that is that when we grow up in the Catholic Church, we go to CCD, or you're coming back, you go through RCIA. We are kind of like beaten down with all the catechism, which is great, and we need to know the catechism for its richness and to understand, how to live our lives. So the catechism is the truth of the church. But evangelization, that's the love. Evangelization is how we show people how we are able to live our lives fully and alive in Christ. For me, I see evangelization as the love of the church, and that's the fulfillment we find in a life with Christ. The beauty and everything that the church is meant to be. And the catechism is the steps to take us there. I don't really see them as the rules or the steps to take us there. To be a good Catholic, the steps to make our way to heaven, to live a fulfilled life where we're not searching and grabbing for all this kind of stuff, that's the catechism. Those are the steps we take in order to get the life that we need. But too many times, we don't show other people, this is the life that you can have. We just say, you're doing this, and this wrong. And we're seen as judgmental, we're seen as not caring. And we don't reach to our brothers and sisters in love, which is what we really need to do. We need to first step out in love. When you're going to have a heart-to-heart conversation with somebody, right? Somebody that you really love and you see that they're not really doing things in the proper way. You first have to reach out with them in love and say, this is where I'm coming from, I love you, and this is the reason why I'm reaching out. But, you also need to change certain things in your life because the way you're living is not the best way for you. So I want to leave you with that quote one more time. You need to know that God truly loves you and wants the best for you. And understand that first before you can understand the do's and the don'ts of the church. So if you don't fully understand the magnitude of how Christ loves you and how he truly wants the best for you, that he just doesn't want to limit you, restrict you, control you, you have to get rid of those thoughts. And I challenge you just to think, if he does want the best for me, what does that look like? What do I need to do on my side in order to get the gift that he's trying to give me? Those do's and those don'ts of the church, they're steps towards that great life our Father just wants to hand to you. So I just want to leave you guys with that. So God bless. Please like, comment any thoughts that you have on this video, and subscribe to my channel. But I hope you guys have a blessed day. God bless. Bye.